Hello everyone, welcome back again to the YouTube channel named as Cat to IIM by Manoj Mahajan. So on the screen guys, you can see one of the interesting line. I keep using this in my classes also. Not just an educator, but a cat mentor. So this is a line which inspires me on a daily basis, guys. And I'm also in the industry for the last 18 plus years, guys, where I have taught with top coaching institutes. So I would say, guys, if you're looking forward for a quant and the LRDI expert, and if you need any free guidance, you can contact me, guys, at the number 9891565351, and you'll find out more details about myself, guys, in the description also of the session. And as you all know that I've started a series for cat to IIM success stories. Already one such session I've already done on the YouTube channel, guys. So today I have Sumeet Singh with us, and we are going to definitely look forward for the cat to IIM success story with Sumeet Singh. So let me just ask Sumeet to introduce himself. And remember, Sumeet, you are going to mention out three things at least. One is your profile, which is very important for the IIM calls. Secondly, if I look your cat percentile, and thirdly would be the final conversion rate.
Sure, sir. So my profile is a 998 profile. So I had gotten a 95% in 10th, 94.8% in 12th, and a 8.23 CGPA in my BTech. So I'm a GEM, and I have 3 years of work ex. Coming to my CAT percentile, it was 98.01 percentile, and my final converts were Lucknow and MDI, SJMSOM, which is IIT Bombay, NITIE, and yep, that was.
Okay. So in terms of the best conversion, what Sumeet has done is IIM Lucknow, guys. So I'm sure that you must be happy to join this college soon.
Yeah, sir. So that was Lucknow was my best call, and thankfully, it got converted, and I'm very happy about it. So my entire preparation was actually focused, like after results was focused toward Lucknow, and it got converted. So I'm extremely happy about it.
That's great. So let's look at few questions I'm going to post, Sumeet, and I'm sure that you would answer to the best of your knowledge. And this session would be helpful for the CAT 22 aspirants who would be targeting this year. So the first thing which I want you to answer, Sumeet, is when you started your CAT 21 preparation, which month, if I look over here, right?
So I started around May in 2021, and that's when I got down to it and actually started preparing for it. And before this, I had actually given CAT a few times. I had given CAT two, 3 times before this, but this was my actual first serious preparation. And yeah.
Okay. So what I understood, Sumeet, that you were a repeater, right? In 21, you have given CAT in the past also. So we'll talk about the story, the previous attempts also in a while. And for 21, you actually started in the month of May, right? So May 2021. Okay, great. Yeah. So if you look over here, guys, we are in the month of June. So we started in May. I'm sure that we have enough time to crack CAT 22.
Yeah.
So whatever advice Sumeet is going to give to the CAT aspirants, they can follow and they can be the part of the CAT journey, right? Okay, the next thing I wanted to know from you, Sumeet, the CAT aspirants are interested to know the preparation strategy, right? And section wise. So I want you to highlight section wise, be clear about it, and make sure that you mention about how you covered the concepts. Practice, I'm sure you must have done. So from where you look forward for the practice and how you did it. Did you made notes, right? That is also an important thing which aspirants keep asking me. And the last thing you should try highlight how you did the revision, right? So four things try to focus on section wise, whatever section you want to start with, you can look forward, right?
Sure, sir. So, for me, I would say that if you are someone who's starting preparation, I think the first thing you should do is maybe give a mock and like find out what your strengths and weaknesses are. From there, I had a basic idea about what my strengths and weaknesses were, and so this is how I started. So when I talk about quants, I'll just go section by section. Okay, so when I talk about quants, what I did was I took the first month just to cover everything, just the surface level stuff, so that you have some knowledge about what you're doing. So you can go through you can cover just the basics of the topic. And once I was done with that, that's when I started following an instructor. So in my case, I followed Manoj sir, and once you have a basic knowledge, when he explains things to you, you'll get a better grasp at it because you have a basic foundation. So even when he's explaining you shortcuts, there's one thing where it is like you are just blindly trying to apply shortcuts. That doesn't actually work in reality. So what works is that when you have a basic foundation, when he teaches you his shortcuts, that will actually increase your perceptibility to it. You'll be able to understand why you are doing the shortcut. So I think that was something that really worked out and for me. And coming to where I did practice from, I think there are a lot of books that you can find. If you have some issues finding the books, you can come to me as well. I have so many booklets kept with me now, because you find it on Telegram very easily. Yeah, very easily. Other than that, go through the practice sessions with Manoj sir. I think those were really great. And the reason I'm saying that is, so when you're practicing, that's fine, right? Because you're practicing on your own, so there's no time constraint. When you're practicing with him, he'll put a time constraint on you, and he'll give you a variety of questions. So that kind of allows you to understand, okay, what are doable, what aren't doable, so that when it comes in the exam, you understand what the difficulty level is. Because see, cat is not an exam about doing everything. Cat is an exam about picking the right questions, and that's what practicing with him will kind of teach you. So again, those practice sessions were pretty useful for me. Coming to notes, I don't think you need extensive notes. What I did was I had a formula book for quants that I'm talking about. Of course,
Okay.
you keep a practice book where you write, and every time you are doing some practice session, you keep on noting it down. You keep a golden formula book. That's what I did, and I kept concepts notes there, just the ones that I wanted, and I kept it in my own language, right? So I kept it very short, very crisp, so that whenever I wanted to revise, it shouldn't be that revising is like going through a textbook. It shouldn't be like that. Revising should be that you look at it and you remember what the concepts are, right? So it should be something like that, where you just look at it and you should grasp the formulas fast. So yeah, that's what was about notes. Coming to revision, I just cover revision in the end, because revision for all the three sections was kind of similar for me. What I did was, every time I took a so what I did was, for my mock was like, I used to keep a mock after 2 weeks. And so depending on my mocks, before the mocks I would keep one day just for revision of all the three sections that I was going through. So that's what revision was for me, basically. Okay, so LRDI. All right. So let's talk about LRDI. LRDI, first thing I would say, go with the basics. Okay. So I know the kind of questions that will come in CAT aren't related to basics. You aren't gonna get direction sense questions or blood relation questions. That's a fact. But when you do these questions, when you understand these concepts, it will kind of build the intellectual capability that you have, to solve these questions. And the next time that you see these questions, you won't get scared. Also, I think it's always good to get these things done, because it gets your juices flowing, your intellectual juices flowing. And I think that's a great thing. I don't think you'll find the right practice material that you need for CAT anywhere. So I would suggest that either you pester Manoj sir to give you his notes, because he has those special questions that he has created that really helped me. Or you take a few sessions with him. He has practice sessions for LRDI. He will pretty much cover everything. You can also look at all the previous year questions. So I think that is something every CAT aspirant should do, is like for especially for LRDIs to just go through every single previous year questions. And I think when it comes to revision, if for LRDI specifically, if you want to do revision, I think you can choose these few questions that took extra time when doing them, or like questions that you were not able to understand, and just redo it once, like at the end of your week, or at the end of your test time. So I think that kind of helps. It kind of keeps the entire thing fresh in your mind, because if you do it once, you might forget it, but if you do it twice, thrice, you won't forget it. So I think that really helps. Yeah. Now coming to VRC. So VRC was my strength area, to be honest. At least it was in the earlier earlier cats. This cat I wasn't that lucky. But for VRC, I would suggest just read a lot. Go through newspaper. I would suggest to go through newspaper and articles. My only reasoning for that is because in the future, when you go for PIs, that is going to help you. You can obviously go for novels. That is also fine. There are a lot of great novels out there. I'm sure if you ask Manoj sir, he'll give you a repository. I'm sure he has one of those, repository of 100 novels or something. So he'll give you one of those. But yeah, there are great novels out there. But I would suggest to also read newspaper, because that also kind of helps, especially the Hindu. So because you'll be able to understand arguments more easily. You'll be able to understand how a paragraph should be structured and things like that. That will kind of help in your VAT and PI as well. And yeah, obviously a reading habit always helps. So I used to keep like 2 hours every day just for reading. So that kind of builds up your stamina. That really counts. A lot of times we get exhausted reading like long paragraphs. You lose the sense of the head and tail of the paragraph. So that kind of pretty much helps you. And I would suggest also these special type of questions, right, like para summary, para jumbles, CR. If you're really good at these, that's awesome. Keep practicing them. If you're not great at these, just go through the basics. I think there are you will find books by you'll find GMAT books, or you can go through there's a site called GMAT Club. So you can go through that also. It will have a bunch of practice questions. Just practice it. It will also give you the answer. So once you are done, once you have your answer, you also need to find out whether you had the right logical approach to that answer, right? So for that, you also need to look at, even if you have an answer right, you need to look at what the actual solution given by the instructor was. So just do that as well, and over time it will improve. um, so that was pretty much it. And try to keep some time between the week, or like whatever. So I used to think of it as a sprint. So as a software developer, I used to think of it as sprint, because we should divide our tasks. So it was like that for me. So like if it is like after 2 weeks you're giving an exam, so during that 2 week, make sure that you're revising the things that you're weak in, and you're also making sure that whatever your strengths are, you're also focusing a little bit on that as well. You're practicing those as well. So that's the best thing I can tell you.
Okay, just let me just low again. Sumit, what was your strength area out of these three?
For me, strength area was VRC.
VRC. See, I just highlighted this thing because you are an engineer, right?
Yeah.
So you'll find out that the most of the engineers are going to struggle in the verbal part, right?
Yeah.
So what I just got to know from your conversation is that you read a lot, right?
Yeah.
So one of the sources, I think so, novels you mentioned out, right? And the other is newspaper. Also, you mentioned any particular newspaper you want to highlight for the students?
I would just say go with the Hindu. Op-ed
Hindu.
and the editorial section of the Hindu is the best that I have found. It has also good grammar, good sentence formations. So it's the best apparent, according to me.
So look, Sumeet, being an engineer and having the verbal section as the strength is quite a surprise to many of us. So I'm sure the real reason behind the Sumeet strength of VRC is the reading part, right? So I keep telling in my classes, guys, read, read, read. The only one mantra I feel which can help you in the VRC is one simple line: read, comma, read, comma, read, comma, read, comma, read, and so on, dot, 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 guys. So that is the line which can definitely help you. So reading novels definitely helps a lot. And along with that, newspaper, as mentioned by Sumeet also. So everyone cannot be like having the strength as VRC, being an engineer, right? So that is something which is great for the Sumeet part. And I'm sure that being engineer, quant and LRDI were also, he was comfortable with those areas as well, being the engineer, right? So great, Sumeet. And what I understood is that you first figured out your strength, that was your VRC, which was the weak area out of the other two, LRDI and
No,
quant,
for
if I
me it was
say.
both quants and LRDI. To be honest, the thing is that
Weak areas.
the number of times I had given CAT, I never actually worked on my quants and LRDI. It was just like, let's see how much I can get in VRC. So it was pretty much like that for me. And the only this time when I was serious about it, that's when I actually went through quants and LRDI. Specifically like going through the actual concepts, building a foundation. So that is something
Okay.
that only happened this year for me.
So this can happen, guys, with the engineers too. From like Sumeet conversation, I understand that verbal is the strength and the quant LRDA the weak areas. So those who would be watching this session, I'm sure if they are engineer, they would be surprised by the statement made by Sumeet. So what I feel is he must be doing reading since long, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
must be reading since long, so that helped you in the VRC.
yeah.
Quant LRDA, he did not focus in the past, in the earlier attempts, if I see what I understand. In 21, he started focusing more on the quant LRDA, which helped him getting a good percentile around 98 and finally converting the call IIM Lucknow rate. So
Yeah.
what I just want to highlight one more thing also, guys. See, tricks and shortcuts are important, no doubt, but don't try to memorize them. Don't try to memorize them. There has to be some foundation for those trick shortcut. So you have to first focus on the basics. So if you attend the classes, guys, the quant and the LRDA, I always start from the basic and to the advanced level. And whenever I talk about trick and shortcut, so I do tell the basic behind it, right? So that you have to mug up those trick shortcut and you can actually apply those trick shortcut in the variety of questions, or maybe if some changes are also there, you understand whether I can apply the trick or the shortcut in that particular problem, right? So what I understand from Sumeet conversation is that build your basics first and then you can look forward for the trick and shortcut, especially in the quant part.
Yeah.
So thank you for this part. Let's come to the other area, that is the mock part, right? So because a lot of students keep asking के mock कब से देना शुरू करना चाहिए and all, so ये queries रहता है. So one is I'll ask you when you started, like for 21 I'm talking about. I'm sure that in the past also you must have given some mocks, but in 21 when you gave your first mock.
So 21, I gave my first mock in July. Although I did it too late. So I would suggest that if anyone is trying to find the right moment to give a mock, it is like after. I think only quants is something that you need to really work hard at. Okay, so LRDI still is a practice game. You just need to practice, understand the right question to be picked, and just practice. Quants is something where you need at least your arithmetic and algebra basics cleared. So that is the minimum. So once you are done with those two, start with your mocks. I think that is the best way to do it. Other two sections are just practice based, because comprehension you'll keep on doing it, you'll get better at it. LRDI, you keep on doing it, you'll find out better ways to solve it. Quants is just something you need your basics cleared before you start attempting it.
Okay, how many mocks you were able to write, Sumeet, for CAT 21 finally when you went for the D-Day, right?
Yeah. So I'm not sure of the exact number. I know it is in the 30s. I think it is 34, 35.
34, 35.
Yeah. And my goal was to not give too many marks. So 30, 35 is still too many, but I didn't analyze all of them. So that's the big thing. I analyzed around 25, 26 of them. But like analyze is like proper sitting and
Is
3
more
hours.
important.
Yeah.
So I also keep suggesting, guys, that don't figure out the number and then you start focusing on the mocks. And or maybe if I look chasing the number may not make much sense. It's better that you give a decent number of mocks. That could be in the range of 25 to 30 guys. If I look, he has gone a little bit more than 30. And the most important thing is, guys, whatever mocks you're going to write, make sure that you do the thorough analysis, right? Then only things are going to improve in the next mock. So there is no point of just keep giving the mocks. You don't do any analysis and you think of that the percentile would improve or the score would improve. It would be really difficult to do so without adding on the analysis part, which is very, very critical, guys. So please make sure that you write mocks and spend a good time in doing the analysis, right? Okay, next thing, if I look about the mocks, how you used to attempt, let's say when you gave the first mock, you would be having something in your mind that this is the way I'm going to do it. And later on, some strategy change must have happened during the process. And also to highlight, Sumeet, what was your lowest mock percentile and the highest. So the students may be aware of that. Yes, the range could be, the gap could be huge between the lowest and the highest, and they don't have to give up, right? So things do improve, right?
Yeah. So for me, my lowest was 67%. 67 percentile was my lowest, and
Okay.
my highest went up to 99 percentile.
Which mocks these were?
So these were a combination. Some of them were Krakow, a few were from CL as well, and a few were from IIMs as well. The lowest was in Krakow itself, and the highest was also in Krakow, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 67 to 99 journey, right? So I'm sure that there must be like some change in the strategy which must have happened also over the course. So can you just highlight that?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I think strategy is something that you're going to come up with on your own. So when I say this is my strategy, it is something that I have experimented over and over again and found that I'm very comfortable with those. Okay. So for anyone who's watching it, I would suggest that you also keep improvising, and because mocks are the best way to find out what strategy suits you. Okay. Now the strategy that I use personally for VARC, I just skim the passage. Okay, I take the first 5-10 minutes to just skim the passages. I select the passages that I think are very easy. I leave the passage that is very difficult to understand. Okay, and I just go with those. All right. For LRDI, again, it's kind of the similar process where you do a question review. Okay, you pick the questions that seems the easiest to you. You give it some time. So I used to give around 2 to 3 minutes of time. If I'm somewhere halfway through it, or if I have a understanding of what it is, then I do it more. If I don't, I just move on to the next best one. So that is the approach. For quants, it's a round. I'm sure everyone's heard about the rounds approach, right? So you take the first round, you pick everything that you know you can do in less than 2 minutes. Then in the second round, you go for the harder questions. So yeah, obviously. So that's the approach for quants.
So there's something which we talked about also, if you remember, in the mentoring session also.
Yeah. This is from Manoj sir itself. So it was one of the strategies that I tried of Manoj sir's, and it really worked out for me.
So, great. So just can you we already talked about the overall percentile in the CAT was around 98. Can we go section wise also, because let people be aware of what you have done in the section wise as a performance, right?
Yeah, sure. So section wise for VARC, I would go with first, because it was the most disappointing percentile, to be honest. So I got a 93.21, which is the lowest I've got till now.
That's your strength, right?
Yeah, that's my strength. So I'm lucky that quants and LRDI worked harder this year. Varna to I would have gone below pata nahi kitna. So LRDI I've got a 96.9, and quants I've got a 97.15, and my overall is 98.01.
So maybe the VRC section was a bit disappointing for you. You must be expecting a little more. And I'm sure that that would actually change the overall percentile also, right? And it would have been a little on the higher side. Anyhow, you made it to IIM Lucknow. That is also a dream B school of many aspirants, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just let us know as you are a repeater, right? Now, so like you have attempted in the past, maybe I don't know the years, which all years you have attempted. So 20, I'm sure you must have done, you must have attempted the that paper. So just can you let us know as a repeater, like in 21, right? What mistakes you avoided this time in 21, which made you fetch 98 percentile, right?
All right. So first thing is that you have done your mocks. Okay, you have done your mocks. You have a strategy in your mind. When you're gonna go and sit for the paper, right? It's very looming, right? Because it's the only chance you have. Like it's that kind of a thing where you feel like, okay, if I don't do this, 1 year is lost, and all that. All that things are gonna come into your head. So my only suggestion is that for those 2 hours, those 2 or 3 hours, I don't know if the pattern will change. Just like put all those thoughts out of your mind. You have a strategy. You know, war may this is what happens, right? Like if there's chaos and people forget the strategy, they just run around, right? They run around amok and nothing happens. So the best thing to do is just stay calm, follow your strategy, and do not move away from the strategy, no matter how much panicked you are, no matter how less time there is. Just stick to the strategy. It will work out. Don't worry about it. Um, yeah. So second thing I would suggest is, like, obviously what sir also suggested is analyze your mocks. So make sure you analyze your mock. Make sure. See, the point is to not even if you have to sit for 3 hours extra, right? Like after writing a mock, you're sitting for 2 3 hours more. It's fine as long as you find something to learn out of it, right? Like if as long as you find 1 point 2 point that you can that, okay, this is where I'm going wrong, this is where my strength lies. So as long as you have some deduction out of it, that's completely fine. Take your time, do a thorough analysis of the mock. I think that would be a big thing. That is something that I did not do well in the previous years. um, Third thing is something that is Manoj sir's favorite. So he used to say shit mistakes. So make sure you have a notebook for shit mistakes, and it's going to happen. Believe me, you're gonna mistake a 5 for a 6 and a 0 for a 1, and all these mistakes, these silly mistakes, are gonna happen. But make sure you note it down. Make sure you understand that, okay, this is where you have gone wrong. This is maybe somewhere you have not applied the concepts correctly. You have not thought it through. You're just trying to rely on the formulas. It's a basic human urge to do it. Okay, and they are gonna happen. Just be willing to accept it, and move on. Write it down somewhere. Keep it with you. It will really help. And I think the fourth point is, I think, the most important point, which is to just be consistent. Okay, just be consistent in your preparations. I know it's very hard. I know, there are new TV series coming out every single month, and that is something that really was a problem with me, right? Like, you get hooked onto some new TV series, you get hooked onto some new source of content, you keep scrolling Insta. These things happen, but try to be consistent. Even if you are like completely mentally exhausted on a particular day, just try to give 15-20 minutes still. Try to at least revise something, do something or the other, because if you don't, that habit of studying is gonna grow weaker, and that's never a good thing. So just be very consistent with whatever you're doing.
Okay, so what I understood from your point is you missed out the consistency in the
Yeah.
previous attempts, right? That was one thing, and I'm sure due to which you have not focused much on quant and LRDI in the past.
Yes.
But in 21, you have focused more on the quant and LRDI. Secondly, the silly mistakes, which I keep telling my students also named as shit mistakes, right? So please make sure that whatever silly mistakes you do during the preparation, if you make a note of it, if you make a register of it, it would be very helpful for you guys in the revision part, and you can do it on a weekly basis. And definitely the last 10 days before that, everyone should look at revision part for sure. And in that revision, the topmost would be the silly mistakes. So because you know that if you do some silly mistake and you lose out marks, right? Let's say it's a negative marking is there. So you lose out, let's say, -1.
Mm.
So in totality, you are not losing out -1. Please understand, you're losing out actually 4 marks because you should have got it correct and fetched 3 marks, but you're losing out that. And instead of that, you are also losing out one more marks, right? So getting one question incorrect due to silly mistake, and if it is having a negative marking, you're losing out 4 marks. And let's say if it is not having a negative marking also, you're still losing out 3 marks. And that is a difference which, if I look like Sumeet has got a 98 percentile, and I feel that if he has done, let's say, 3, 4 mistakes more, the silly mistakes, right? His percentile would have been around 93, 92, right? So there would have been the huge difference in the percentile if the silly mistake would have been more in the actual CAT paper. So that is one of the difference I feel a person scoring 94, 95 and somebody scoring 98, 99. The gap is one of the reason I personally feel with my 18 years of experience is that the person who is scoring a little bit higher in the terms of percentile has done less silly mistakes as compared to a person who's scoring 94, 95 because you don't find like huge difference in the intellectual level if I look person getting 95 percentile, person getting 98, honestly speaking, right? So that 3 percentile difference is the prime reason I feel is because of the silly mistake. So make sure guys, you make a register of the silly mistake from the beginning and keep revising weekly. And 10 days before, definitely you have to do the revision part. And the third thing which I understand is the panic button, right? So maybe a lot of people keep pressing the panic button from time to time. So please make sure that CAT is just not about guys aptitude. It is also about the attitude, right? So how you keep your temperament, that matters a lot during the exam or during the process. So there would be a lot of like uh, setbacks happening during the preparation, guys. So make sure that the one important line I keep telling in my classes: never give up, and don't press the panic button, guys. Things would be smooth. So like Sumeet's journey was also a bit long getting into IIM now, but I'm sure that finally he got through. So I want the others to learn from Sumeet's mistake and make sure that this year itself, writing CAT 22, you should be getting into a top B school, right? The last thing which I understood is the mocks analysis from the Sumeet conversation, right? So maybe he missed out in the past doing the analysis part. So he's highlighting that please write mocks and do the analysis. Spend extra hours in doing the analysis of the mocks. So thank you so much for explaining beautifully the mistakes what you have done. Next, one more thing very important, which because along with the job you were preparing for the CAT 21, right? So how you were able to manage, because a lot of people would find it difficult, especially the people who are working, right?
Hmm. So for this, there's no magic formula, to be honest. Okay, so it's not going to be like अच्छा ये लगा लो तो अब तुमको नहीं करना पड़ेगा काम. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be something that you're going to have to do on your own. And see, time management is like a big thing for MBA at the end of the day. ठीक है, तो you're going to go and do that. So let's start from the starting. So what I did was, I would tell you what I personally did. What I personally did was, I made sure everyone in my team was aware about what I was doing, that I was preparing for something. And I made sure I kept a very strict, timetable with them. I made all of them aware that I won't be available after 6, that I'll be working only from 9 to 6, and I won't be there after 6. And no matter, what you do is that I used to just close my laptop, the work laptop, I used to just close it. I used to disconnect all my phone and all during that time. So I used to be very strict with my timeline, to be honest. And I had a very strict timetable, because the more you follow a routine, right, the easier it becomes. See, because in the starting, it will be difficult for your mind to switch from work to your studies, right? Because work also, things are going on. You're having blockers, you're having issues. You need to submit something. There are deadlines coming up. But the more you fall into a routine, the easier it becomes for you to switch your mind from work to to preparation. And that's what something I did. I had a very strict timetable for myself. And of course, I know it's very hard to prioritize one thing over the other, but try to, as much as you can, try to keep a very strict timetable. That's what I say. And I think second thing is that, have a very good relationship with your manager. Okay, your manager is going to be someone who is going to end up backing you. Okay, no matter what happens, he's going to end up backing you, especially if you're in IT. Like me, I'm in IT, so whatever happened, my manager is like a shield for me. Okay, so I used to make sure that I have regular conversations with him, that he was aware about what I'm doing, that he supported me in my journey, and that was something that kind of helped me along with that as well. So even when I wanted to go for unpaid leave for like around two months, I went for unpaid leave, and he very happily he got it approved and everything. So
Two months before the CAT?
yeah, 2 months
Before
before
the.
that. I went from October onwards, no, September onwards, and that's the thing. So because I had a good relationship with him, he got it all approved and everything. And again, like once you go into MBA, when it comes to summer placements, when it comes to placements, having a person who's reliable in your previous job is always a great thing. So that is something I would say is make really great connections, make really great relations, so that that will also kind of help you in the entire journey.
So another very important, interesting question from you, Sumeet, as I also belong to the GEM category, that is General Engineer Male, right? So this is a category which people actually want to be a part of it, right? Especially in getting calls from IIM. So I wanted to understand from you how much difficult it was for you to get a call from top B schools being in the GEM category and convert them, right? So how much difficult it was?
So the fact that we are called gem is very ironic because you won't be treated like gem. No one is going to treat you as anything precious, okay?
Exactly.
So just understand that they're not going to treat you as anything precious. First of all, if you're an aspirant for CAT 22, I would say that don't think about it for now. just give your best. Try to achieve as much percentile as you can before you think about कि अच्छा मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा call. That is secondary. But if you are a gem, to be very honest, it is difficult. I didn't get a call from Kozhikode, Shillong, just because I'm from gem. And when you're not from, when you're like, let's say, even if you're a even if when you're like a non-engineer female, right? So you get certain uh, preferences. And again, see, that is not something that we can actually counter, right? It's not something that is within our control, right? But what we can do is we can give our best. So like people had told me that Lucknow would be very difficult for you. I had taken mock interviews with a bunch of people, with a lot of people, and a lot of them had told me that Lucknow would be difficult for you. You focus on something easier. You focus on MDI or focus on IIM Indore, because Lucknow, you are a gem and you have 98. 98 is not a very high percentile. It will be difficult for you. It won't be possible. You'll have to give a very amazing interview. uh, but what I did was I just focused on the interview, right? That's what you can do. You can't now change your percentile, or you can't now change your gem status. That is your status. So it's not in your control. So what is in your control right now? One is your percentile, two is your VAT and PI preparation. So just focus on those. Don't focus on कि अरे मेरा gem है, मेरा reservation नहीं है, ये सब ठीक है यार, चल लेता है life में.
So you want to advise that score as high percentile you can do
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
CAT, and
yeah,
once you get calls, the focus would be on the VAT PI rate.
exactly.
And I'm sure that you, apart from the IIMs guys, the other calls also you converted is MDI, NITIE, Shailesh J. Mehta School of Management also. So these are the other B schools he has converted, which are also really good. But of course, I'm Lucknow, he would be joining soon. Okay, now you mentioned about the VAT PI, right? Anna? So I want my students to know what is the importance of the VAT PI, when you actually started the preparation, because a lot of people start after getting the call. So is the same case with you also? So when you
Uh,
started the VAT PI preparation?
Yeah, so I started after that, and that was on around 1st January. So I started after
That
that.
means in Jan 2022 you started, right?
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
the result was out, right?
before the result was out. So see, first of all, so for me, PI preparation was something that was part of my schedule in general, because I was reading newspapers from the starting. I was aware with current affairs. Um, I am someone who gets very into scrolling when I go on Insta or something. So what I had done was I had um, installed InShots. So InShot is like another scrolling news application. So rather than scrolling on Insta, you can just scroll on InShots. So those were some, I had some basics already done, right? So I was aware about what was happening in the in the current affairs section. So that is obviously something that helps. Now coming to VAT, so I'll talk about VAT first. First of all, VAT wasn't something that was very heavy in my mind, because during this year they didn't have VAT in a lot of institutes. They had VAT only, I think. I gave SIBM Pune and SCMHRD and XLRI, sorry, SAT. So they had VAT in that. And also I also connected SIBM Pune and SCMHRD, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, so those had VAT, and they weren't like current affairs VAT. They were like very nice. You sit and then you write a story, those kind of VAT. So if you read well, you're gonna do okay in that. It's not very difficult. um, for that one, yes, you'll have to do a little basic preparation beforehand, but again, that is also very abstract topic, so you can get through it. It's not that difficult. The major thing that you'll need to understand for VAT, there are two major things. Okay, one is how you present an argument. So whenever you present an argument, there are four main subdivisions in an argument. So that's like main idea, premise, example, conclusion. Okay, so when you read a newspaper, no, the more you read a newspaper, the more you'll be able to identify these things, that okay, this is part of a main idea. This is the premise, or this is the reason he's giving to support his main idea. Then you'll understand, okay, this is the example that is going to make his premise stronger. So this is something that you understand more and more you read newspapers, more and more you read. Okay, and the second thing is, like I said, how you break it into paragraphs so that it is worthwhile. Like there's a sense of clarity when the reader is reading it. Okay, this is what this paragraph is talking about, this is what this paragraph is talking about. So those are the major things. Other than that, keep up with your current affairs, try to read as much as possible. Whenever you're stuck for a point, just go to another point, right? Like let's say if you're talking about what is happening now, right, Agnipath. So let's say you're talking about the social aspect of it, you can very easily switch to the political aspect of it. If you do not have any more points to the social aspect of it, if you're done with the political aspect for it, talk about the geographical aspect for it, talk about the historical aspect of it. So just keep on shifting. It's not that difficult once you get the hang of it, once you practice it more. So again, if you are giving cat 22 and if that comes back, you can very easily use these 2-3 techniques that I had.
So probably what I understand is the current affairs, you were keeping yourself up to date, like from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And those like updates which you had about the current affairs helped you a lot in the writing the VAT portion also. And what I understand from your perspective is because your BRC was a strong area, so you are good at like reading, writing also. But maybe for the other aspirants, the case may not be the same. So I would suggest them that for the VAT, you guys can look forward to start writing from now onwards. Maybe just one VAT you can write every week. That would be good enough to start with. And if you are not good at the communication part, you can also communicate with your friends or maybe with your peers in the language English, so that things are more smoother for you in the interview. And what I will also recommend is that maybe see, did they focus Sumeet on subject knowledge in the interview?
They do. So in some interviews they will focus on your subject knowledge, in some they won't. But you have the driver's seat. Okay, so it's like you can direct them to what you want to talk about. So like for IIM Indore, they were very much into my subject knowledge, but I directed them into those subjects that I like, right? So then it wasn't that much of an issue for me, because I had already prepared for those subjects.
So what I understand, because subject knowledge is also being tested in the interview. So apart from working on VAT, apart from working on the communication skills, you guys can look forward on the subject knowledge also from the beginning, because at the last moment it would be difficult for you to revise all your subject knowledge part. So I would suggest you can start from now. And one more thing, last I can look forward is that you can start with the autobiography also. So I'm sure that in the interview there would be some HR questions also from you, Sumeet, which you must have answered. So people who do write the autobiography, it may become easier for you later on to answer a lot of HR questions from there. So that also you can do on a weekly basis. I'm not saying that you sit and you write everything about yourself in one day. So every week, spend some time on the autobiography. Try to make sure that you keep doing it every week, so that once you face the interview, you are ready with your HR answers. You are ready with your subject knowledge also. If you do it every week, if you can revise, and if you keep writing and improve your communication part also, that would definitely help you in the interview, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing, Sumeet, from your side, there was a long journey. Like, you started from May, and then probably getting calls in Jan, and then preparing for VAT PI. So I just wanted to know, as the last thing, my contribution as a mentor in your success journey, right?
Yes, sir. So I think the fact that I was able to cross 90, that itself is a big contribution from your side, sir. Because
Okay.
especially in quants and LRDI, because I hadn't crossed that before. I didn't think it was something that I would be able to do. I think the fact that you always said, right, never give up, and I'm someone who also always believed in that fact, right. I think I had told you that quote as well last time, right, that life is like a boxing match. You don't lose when you get knocked down. You lose when you stop getting back up.
Yeah,
So
yeah, correct.
this is something that I very related with you, and that is something that I kept telling myself as well. And it kept being reinforced every time you said it. So I think that was a major contribution from you. Other than that, of course, the shortcuts, tips and tricks in LRDI, shortcuts in quants, all of those, they kind of helped me get better. Because see, in the past I had always prepared on my own, okay, and that is something that you're gonna lose out on. To be honest, you are gonna lose out on these shortcuts, these like
Strategy.
yeah, these strategies, like you said, chori karna, right? Chori karna was like this thing that we had in LRDI, where we
Yeah,
used
yeah.
to
So
used to
people
look
are
for the
not aware
easy
of it.
questions. Yeah.
That they can probably steal one or two questions
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
entire LRDS set without solving the entire thing. People are not aware of,
Exactly.
and I'm sure that that pushes the percentile to a great extent, right? If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
steal one
That
or two
definitely helped
questions.
me. That definitely helped me. Things like always put something in the theta this thing, that also helped me. So all these things, they kind of help you. And of course, like if you're a student of Manoj sir, I would say that make sure, I know concepts and all is okay. You're gonna do those, and you're gonna have a basic understanding. Make sure you attend his practice sessions. And I'm saying this because the more you attend his practice sessions, the different kind of variety of questions you're gonna get. Okay, and this is for both quants and LRDI. So you're gonna get a variety of questions, and you're gonna understand what questions you're good at, what questions you're not, what questions are doable, what questions are not. And you're also gonna be able to assess your own skills, with a bunch of people, and that also kind of helps. So again, I think that was something that was very useful for me, because you have this innate ability by the end, when you're sitting in the exam, to know, okay, and in the first 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you know that okay, this is not going to happen. I'm going to move to the next question, and that really helps in the long run. So of course, so those are some of the things that you helped me in. There were also mentoring sessions that he can do with you guys. That those are also very great. You get to talk with him, and you get to discuss the mock strategies that you're following with him. He has a bunch of different sessions that are going to help you. So again, it's a great experience to be taught by Manoj sir.
Thank you so much, Sumeet, for the kind words. And yes, what I feel as a USP also in my entire preparation would be the mentoring sessions for sure. That is one thing. I would like to highlight individual preparation and the exam strategy to everyone, those who are going to get connected with me. And later on, definitely, I would be coming up with practice courses for quant and LRDA that would also help you a lot in identifying certain things which are necessary so that you can do well in the quant and LRDA, as Sumeet has also done. So I would like to end on this note, Sumeet. It's a big surprise to me coming in the interview that being an engineer, VRC was your strength. Anyhow, I was not aware of, honestly. So this is something which probably has come as a little surprising to me. I always thought being an engineer, like that was there in my mind that want an LRDI should have been your strength, right? Because I'm also an engineer, so I know the pain when I read the VRC part, I understand the pain, right? Anyhow, so thank you so much for taking out time to meet, and maybe we may expect once you join IIM Lucknow, wish you good luck for the future journey for IIM Lucknow and the life part also. And I'm sure that once you are there in IIM Lucknow, and we may expect the life at IIM Lucknow, what it is actually. So you would be feeling that, maybe recording also, so that we can look forward to let others also know what is the life at IIM Lucknow, because IIM Lucknow is also one of the dream B school for many aspirants, right? So wish you luck, Sumeet. Thank you so much for coming to the channel Cat to IIM by Manoj Mahajan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.